Students, in this part respiration first, we are going to study introduction, respiration, definition, gaseous exchange in plants, respiration in animals, and human respiratory system. Introduction. All living organisms require energy to carry out various life processes. The energy that is stored in the body in the form of organic complex, organic compounds, that is a potential energy, is however not usable by the organisms unless it is converted into usable form. This conversion is achieved through the process of respiration. Definition. It is a biochemical process of oxidation of organic compounds in an orderly manner for the liberation of chemical energy in the form of ATP. Reaction, that is a C6H12O6 in presence of O2. It gives rise to 6 molecules of CO2, 6 molecules of H2O, and it gives rise to 38 ATP molecules. For this, the process of gaseous exchange takes place between the organism and the environment. The site of gaseous exchange is called the respiratory surface. Organs of respiratory exchange. Respiratory exchange is a simple physical process. For efficient gaseous exchange, the respiratory surface should have the following features. First, it should have a large surface area. Second, it should be thin, highly vascular and permeable to allow exchange of gases. Third, it should be moist. Gaseous exchange in plants. The shape and structure of plant facilitate gaseous exchange by diffusion. A terrestrial flowering plants has many continuous air spaces in the cells of stem, leaf and root. Oxygen diffuses into the air spaces through stomata, that is the pores on the leaves and young stem. And carbon dioxide and water vapors diffuses out. So these are the pores on the leaf surface. Woody flowering plants, that is trees and shrubs, have an external impervious bark. So gaseous exchange occurs through small pores in the stem surface called lenticels. So this is a bark impervious and these are the lenticels. Respiration in animals. As compared to plants, animals show wide variety of respiratory surfaces or organs. The respiratory surfaces differ in various animals. In animals, depending upon the complexity of organization and the surrounding medium, certain parts of the body become specialized into different types of respiratory organs. In the higher animals, these respiratory organs are also associated with a transport system. So this chart shows a respiratory surface or organ in organisms. So organisms, habitat, and this is the respiratory surface organs. So first, protists, sponges and coelenterods, they are aquatic in habitat and respire through plasma membrane. Flatworms like planaria, annelids, earthworm, nereis and leech, amphibians, they are aquatic or semi-aquatic. So they respire through plasma membrane, general body surface, that is the moist skin. Insects, they are terrestrial, respire through trachea tubes and spiracles. Arachnids like spiders and scorpions, they are terrestrial, respire through bubuk lungs. Limulus arthropods, they are aquatic, respire through hook gills. Amphibians, tadpoles of frog, salamanders and newts, they are aquatic and respire through external gills. Fish, they are aquatic, respire through internal gills. Reptiles, birds and animals, they are terrestrial, respire through lungs. Turtles, they are underwater and respire through claw. Next point, that is the human respiratory system. The respiratory system brings about inspiration, expiration and exchange of gases in the lungs. These are then transported by blood from the lungs to the different tissues and parts of body. The respiratory system can be divided into upper respiratory system having external layers, nasal cavity, internal layers, nasopharynx, nose, throat and associated structures. So this is the upper respiratory system. The lower respiratory system refers to the larynx, trachea, bronchi, bronchioles and lungs. So this is the lower respiratory system. Nose. The nose has a pair of slit-like openings called external nares or nostrils for the entry of air into the nasal cavity. The nasal cavity is divisible into right and left chambers by a mesenteroid cartilage. Each chamber is further divided into three regions. First is vestibule. It is the proximal part of the nostrils. Its skin has hair for filtering the air and trapping the dust and suspended particles in the inhaled air. Second, that is the respiratory part. It is also called as a conditioner. The middle thin walled, highly vascular part for warming and moistening the inhaled air. Third, olfactory or sensory chamber. It is the uppermost part lined by olfactory epithelium for the detection of smell. Second part, that is the pharynx. It is divisible into three parts. The nasopharynx is the uppermost part from the nasal chamber. So this is the nasopharynx. It leads into oropharynx, common passage for the food and air. So this is the oropharynx, common passage. This continues below as the laryngopharynx. So this is the laryngopharynx. Between the nasopharynx and oropharynx is the palate bone. The pharynx has a set of lymphoid organ called tonsils. Larynx. It is called voice box. It is a sound producing organ. The larynx extends from the laryngopharynx and the hyoid bone to the trachea. This is the hyoid bone. It is a hollow tubular structure. Its wall is made up of cartilage plates held by membranes and muscles. Internally, it is lined by a pair of folds of elastic vocal cords. It's called as true vocal cords. Voice is produced by passage of air between the vocal cords and modulations created by tongue, teeth, lips and nasal cavity. The larynx opens into laryngopharynx through a slit-like opening called glottis. This opening of the trachea or windpipe is guarded by a leaf-like structure called as a epiglottis. It prevents the entry of food into trachea. Trachea, it is also called as windpipe. So it is a long tube 10 to 12 centimeter in length. It runs through the neck in front of the esophagus, extend up into and up to the middle of the thoracic cavity. It is supported by C-shaped 16 to 20 rings of cartilage, which prevents the collapse of trachea. It is internally lined with ciliated pseudostratified epithelium and mucous glands that trap the unwanted particles, preventing their entry into the lungs. Bronchi. The trachea divides into right and left primary bronchi and it reaches the middle of the thoracic cavity. The bronchi are supported internally by C-shaped incomplete rings of cartilage. The primary bronchi divided to form secondary and tertiary bronchi, which lead into terminal bronchioles ending into alveoli. Lungs. These are the main respiratory organs of humans. One pair of spongy and elastic lungs are present in the thoracic cavity. Each lung is enclosed and protected by a double pleural membrane, outer parietal and inner visceral membrane. So this is outer parietal and inner visceral membrane. Between the two pleura is a pleural cavity filled with lubricating fluid called pleural fluid secreted by membranes. So in this region, pleural fluid is present. The right lung is larger and divided into three lobes. So these are the three lobes, that is superior lobe, middle lobe and inferior lobe. Left lung is smaller and divided into two lobes. This is the superior lobe and this is the inferior lobe. Each lobe of the lung has terminal bronchioles ending in a bunch of air sac, each with 10 to 12 alveoli. Alveoli. These are thin-walled lobulated structures like a bunch of grapes. So like a bunch of grapes. Each alveolus is surrounded by a network of capillaries of pulmonary arteries and veins. So these are the capillaries surrounding the alveoli. These have highly elastic wall made up of single layer of squamous epithelium resting on a basement membrane of connective tissue. There are about 700 million alveoli in the lungs and provided the surface area for the exchange of gases. And last, that is the diaphragm. It is muscular septum that separates the thoracic and abdominal cavity. It is dome shaped. On contraction, it becomes flattened. So today we will stop here.